here is Pete Buttigieg. And he is coming out. He's basically like trying to, I don't know. I'm trying to think like maybe he's thinking like VP of one of these people. Like, I just don't know what he thinks he's doing here, where he's positioning himself for. Maybe it's to run for governor. Maybe he's decided, like, I don't know. But Pete Buttigieg, he thinks that what we can do is return to a time that really basically never was.
As the youngest candidate in the field, I am obviously a believer in the power of generational change. I also believe that a candidate at any age, depending who they are, can be a great president. What we got to talk about right now is vision. My concern about the vision from the Sanders-Warren approach is that it can polarize Americans when we have other ways to deliver bold solutions without dividing the American people further. My difference with the vice president is that I also don't think promising.
Pause it for 1 second. I want to talk about this idea of polarization. Like, it's almost as if people don't understand what the word means. Like, we're polarized. This country is as polarized as it could be. The idea that in some fashion, the Democrats have the ability to like, I guess the only thing he's saying is that, like, look, here's the center, right? And here are the conservatives, and they're way out here. And Democrats have been here. And if we get Warren or Sanders, we're going to be here. And that's going to increase the polarization. I get news for you. There's nothing Pete Buttigieg is going to do that is going to in any way diminish because we have seen for the past 25 years that if the Democrats move this way, the Republicans move that way. They go further. The spectrum in America is pretty standard. The outer margins, maybe who fills them isn't, but the parameters of what we have in this country are pretty well set. Even our left is not that left.
And the right side doesn't even fit in the screen.
Well, that's right. And so the bottom line is he is basically just saying we need to return to the time that got us to where we are today so that we can do this again. But let's hear his critique of Joe Biden, who is also making that same pitch, though. But apparently he's doing it with maybe his teeth falling on his eyes bleeding.
The American people further. My difference with the vice president is that I also don't think promising that we're going back to normal is going to be a message that'll hit people well, certainly where I come from in the industrial Midwest. There are a lot of people who voted for this current president, not because they think he's a good guy, but because normal wasn't working for them and they were ready to more or less vote to burn the house down. If all we have to offer is, hey, let's dial it back and go back to what we were doing, if it feels like we're looking to the past, I think that message is going to come up short when we get to Election Day.
So he's basically saying, I've got a third secret way.
Alfred E. Newman. I mean, which is just mwah. But I think that, but literally it is a third secret way. He's doing the third way for 2019. And he's just saying Joe Biden's third way is 1980's third way.
Yeah,
my third way
alert.
is 2019 third way. I think it's also, it's really interesting too, because Bernie actually is attempting on some level to say, and I think this argument, even if it can't reach a lot of people, it can reach some, and it needs to be made or else we're not going to survive, right? He's saying, like, look, we need to get back. There does need to be a polarization, right? Between the 99%, the 1%, between workers and capital or whatever. So he is attempting to at least make a grounded version of that argument, an argument that has some semblance of reality. If you read Pete's book, he's doing a lot of, and again, it's pure Clintonism. He's doing, what's the famous line? What's the discriminatory fast food chain? He has this famous line where he's like,
Chick-fil-A?
Yeah, I don't like their politics, but I'm quite partial to their chicken.
Of course.
That's his whole shtick, is not acknowledging the reality of the polarization and then thinking a bunch of like cheap cultural signifiers would do something, not actually building people together in an actual coalition to do something in the real world, which is why, of course, he hasn't said anything about the UAW walkouts or anything. He's trash.
We will get to these UAW walkouts tomorrow, but just to give you a little bit more information, as of, I guess it was 11:59 p.m. last night as opposed to 12 a.m. this morning, 50,000 UAW workers in facilities from Michigan to Texas are participating